and welcome to the Gothic Unicorn. Today we are back in Dead End with my latest 1/48 scale build, which is the Journey's End funeral parlour. Now, in the previous video we actually completed the basic build on this one. So today we are going to be distressing and aging the outside of the property, and to a degree inside. Couldn't have it looking too perfect now, could we? And we will be hopefully starting work on the interior builds. Now obviously this is not a massive property. There are only 2 rooms and the attic in this one, so it should be fairly straightforward. So let's get on with it. I have begun by pulling out the kits that I've got for this project. Now I've got a variety of furniture, I've got doors, and I've obviously got coffins and caskets. Don't know what's stuck on my hand, I really don't, because it's a funeral parlour. I need coffins and caskets. And I've even got a little 3D printed model in the box there. Obviously all these are going to have to be put together. I will show some of it, not show other bits, because obviously where I've got multiples, you don't want to be watching me make multiples of the same item. Well, you might, but I'm not going to do that because I want to try and keep the video moving along quite nicely. I'm planning on using one kit here, which is left over. It was a 2-piece kit in the advent calendar, and I think that's going to work quite well. I've got some bits for making some of the pieces I want to make myself, and yeah, I think we've got a fair amount to do. So I'm going to put these back out of the way, and I think I'm going to start with the aging, because then I can let that dry while I'm working on some of this. I have completed what I will call my first layer of aging, and basically what I've done is I've gone round the outside of the building and I have added some light coloured marks. Because it's dark, I've gone with light, and basically what I do is I sort of stipple it and then smooth it out. Not sort of the same amount of paint that you'd use for dry brushing, because I want that kind of look that almost looks like something that has had mould on it and the mould has been wiped off, but it always leaves that stain. And that's what I've sort of gone for. Now I've also done the roof, as you can see, and I have basically just dinged it up a bit. I have put some light grey, the same as I used on the bulk of the building, and I've also used a bit of silver just to keep that metallicness to it, which I did quite like. And I've also added a little bit of sage green. Now I've added that in certain places because you do find it on some old buildings, especially where birds like to roost. That's all I want to say. And so I've put a bit on some of the bits that protrude as well, just to sort of start to add to it. Now if I just remove the roof and the front, you can see that I've also put some basic distressing inside. Now I can't do too much until the doors etc are in, but I've done it like this because it just starts to make it look a bit dingier. I've dinged up the floor so it looks like the tiles really need a good clean. But I've left some white a bit, so it looks like somebody's maybe moved the dirt around with a mop, not actually cleaned the floor. You know the kind of thing I mean. And yeah, quite liking this. I'm still liking this building, even though it didn't in the first place seem to me to be the one that I could get the most story out of. I'm really enjoying building it. So I'm going to set this aside and I'm going to start on something for the inside. I think I'm going to begin with fitting doors, and we will take it from there. I have completed a couple of things. I have fitted the doors. They are, of course, non-functioning, but I think that added perception that there is something behind the property really helps to create a fuller story. And I've also fitted, if I hold this up, hopefully you can see, I fitted a couple of shelves in the downstairs room. I wanted to put some shelves in here, but I didn't fancy filling the shelves with books or anything like that. And so I thought I'd look for some beads and bits that actually looked like there might be examples of funeral urns or something like that. And I think this is going to work quite nicely. And that's actually 2 metal beads, a plastic bead in the middle, and then those other 2 are actually 2 tiny little LEDs that I cut the metal legs off and glued in place. There were some dead LEDs from something that I saved for just such a purpose. And then, yeah, I'm ready to get on with the furniture. So that's what's next. I have been busily working on furnishings, and most of them are now complete. As you can see, I've got a variety of pieces here, from the wonderful 1930s style corner desk to, of course, a variety of coffins and caskets. This one being one that you can actually have open quite easily, and I need to tidy up under there. Anyway, a couple of the pieces I've got doubles of, and that's what we're going to work on now. So I'm just going to pop these out of the way, and I'm going to pull in the second panelled coffin kit. Now this is this one, which is quite basic, but yeah, a nice little coffin. And this piece, I've got the instructions here. I will just show you. I've got the instructions. I'll move that out of the way though, because as I say, I've made one. This piece is the basic bottom of the coffin, and I've got a couple of pieces that I haven't coloured. Now I've coloured these ready, supposedly, with the alcohol markers, and I'll just do these side pieces like so. But that is the bottom piece, and I haven't coloured the inside because I don't need to. The coffins are going to be shut, and I'm going to need the 2 side pieces, which have got a little notch in them for shaping, because this is a traditional coffin, which means it's shaped. This is the coffin of much beloved of horror movies. And there's the thing to always remember: coffins are shaped, caskets are not. And all I'm doing is I'm sticking the side onto the bottom. I'm going to hold that in place a moment. Make sure that it's nice and level. Take off the excess glue. Now what I did find when I did the first one is this is actually a bit fiddly, because I now need to put some glue on the other side and attach the second side piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put this onto the mat. Try and do this like so. So hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Again, I just need to check the underneath to make sure that it's not too far off the right line, and I think that will do. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hold that at the head end, so to speak, and I'm going to put some glue onto the foot end. I'm going to stick this into place. Now I'm actually doing this, and I'm doing this real time. That's okay, that's gripped. It's gripped quite quickly. Please do not worry if it takes you longer. Now we repeat this at the top. Just put a little bit of glue down there. Put that into place and just hold it there. There we go. And there's my basic coffin. Now, while that's setting, for want of a better phrase, I'm going to stick the decorative piece, the piece that makes it look like it's panelled, onto the lid. And I'm just going to pop some bits of glue onto here. If you prefer, you can use a glue bottle with a fine nozzle, as is recommended in the instructions. I just happen to find that I spend more time with the fine nozzle clogging the nozzle than actually working with the glue. So I just find that this works better for me. And then pop that in place so that the cross is visible through that one section. And now I'm just going to go around and tidy up the glue. Now I tend to wipe the glue onto my fingers because I actually find it easier to do that and then wash my hands. Now the final, what's it for this coffin? The final step for the coffin, as far as I'm concerned, is to glue the lid in place. Now, if you want the coffin open for some reason, you can do that, but obviously then you would decorate the inside of said coffin. But I don't need to do that because these are just going to be coffins in storage. I think that sort of sums it up quite nicely. And I pop that on, and I'm just going to go in there. I'm just going to actually use the edge of my nail on this occasion. And then what I can do is I can go around and make sure it's all nice and tidy when I'm done. So that is the basic coffin, and that is the most basic coffin that I've got. The other coffin and the casket are a little bit more complicated, but still fairly easy should you need a number of them for your project. The second piece I'm going to show you how to build. This is the Arts and Craft settle, which kind of resembles a pew a bit, but it's smaller than a pew would be. I actually started off by removing the pieces from the piece that they're cutting. I did most of my colouring while they were still in there, and all I've done after removing them is go around the edges just to ensure that they've got a nice even coverage of ink. So this one, I'm going to take the end piece and attach it to the seat piece. Now I put the glue on both ends because I've got to do both ends. I'm just going to make sure I do it the right way around. I really do not want one to be one way and one to be the other. That wouldn't be very good at all now, would it? I'm going to get a clean toothpick at this point because I just want to get these extra bits of glue from off the seat there. That one is not playing at all, but if I put it like that, you can see that I have actually got the beginnings of a seat. Now you need to make sure that these are stuck on at right angles, and that's okay, I think. And that needs to be left to dry for as long as it takes. Now the next section is actually sticking the back on, and this is awkward. You might be wondering why, but it's awkward because it doesn't go on. It doesn't go on square. So I'm going to put the glue onto the side of there. I'm just going to pop that up against my glue tray, and I'm going to get the piece here. I'm going to put a bit of glue on the back of there. And then what I need to do with this is I need to that way around. I need to line it up like that, but then I need to make sure that these are stuck at the right angle, which is not perfectly straight. It's straight against the top bit and it kicks out a bit. Sort of, well, it's straight down the line, which isn't it isn't at 90 degrees, I should say. Now I've made a bit of a mess of that back, but that isn't a problem. That's where the pen ran over when I was doing the edge. What I'll do is once I've done it, I'll get the pen and I'll just cover the back again. But aside from that, it's actually come together quite well. Maybe it's because it's the second one. I had a bit more trouble getting it lined up, and then I've got my seat. Now, this piece, gives you carving on the back of the settle. It almost looks like it could be a a padded cushion on the back of a bench seat. So if you did that, you could do that in a different colour, make it look like it was covered in vinyl or something. I'm sure you know the sort of seats I mean. Sometimes when you get those kind of booth seating, like in 50s American diners. Of course, they wouldn't be quite that high, but you do see people putting it onto other kinds of furniture. Now, the final piece is this little top piece, and I just need to make sure I get the glue in the right places because it is quite small. And then we'll fit this piece onto the top. Have I gone in? Now you can put glue across the top of there. I think I did on the previous one, but I don't think you really need to necessarily. Okay, I'm going to take it off and I'm going to put glue along the back. What have you? Some again, pop that in, press and hold, and then remove the excess glue. And what you have, or will have once it's actually all dried, is a nice wooden seat. So yeah, now next step is going to be to start adding the extra details. I've got some 3D printed pieces to get painted, and obviously as I add the details I can start putting these into the building. So yeah, great fun. I have been adding some of the furniture to the property, and I've also been adding some extra details to some of the furniture. Now, as you can see here, I have decorated the attic room with my completed coffins. I didn't know what to do with this room, and I thought, well, I'll stretch the fact that it is a funeral parlour and we'll get some coffins in there. So they are in storage, so to speak. It sort of fits. I may put a few more boxes or something in here, but I'm not sure yet. Now, going down a level, you've got my chapel of rest, and into there I've added my settles. I've added my lectern book stand. Yeah, and when I'm done I will add my casket, which is going to sit in the front. It'll be sort of filling the front view of the room in front of the window, and the lid is open on the casket. You can't see anything, there isn't anything inside, but suggestive. And in here I've put some little bits of paper. I put something on the book stand, maybe something to indicate who's in here. And I put some little bits of paper that are supposed to look like the memorial cards that certainly in this country you fill out when you go to a funeral, so that you can tell the family that you were there, whether they notice you or not. So that room is almost done. I have one more thing I want to make for there, and I have finished off my little corner desk. Just put that down. I've added the typewriter, I've added some papers, and I've painted my 3D printed chair. I'm not sure if in this ground floor room, because the desk is in the corner, if I'm going to add a couple of chairs for visitors. Not yet sure, I haven't decided. I'm meant to see how it looks, but it's coming on apace. Now I want something to go on this shelf, but I'm not sure what. Hopefully you can see. I don't feel like there needs to be lots and lots of books and so forth in this office. So I'm not sure what I'm going for in there yet. But I have got one last little project that I'm going to make for this, and I am going to try and make some large four-standing candlesticks using this kind of slightly decorative toothpick. I've tried and tried and tried to get some decorative toothpicks, and it's just not worked, but this is the best I can get. So I'm going to try and make these into a couple of candlesticks to be positioned either side of the casket at the front of my chapel of rest. So that's my next job, and hopefully next time you see it, these and these will all be in the property. I have added the final touches, the rest of the furniture, and I say the final touches, the final touches for now. I need to put something on this shelf. I think I need some kind of chairs in this room to make it look like a waiting area of sorts. I'm actually waiting on those to be delivered. And of course I've put in my overbearing, oversized candlesticks, which I've had in mind since I decided how I wanted to do this building. I know they're a bit on the large side, but I wanted them to have big presence, and I think they have big presence. So I'm going to call this done for now. Well, as done as any miniature project ever is. Are you gone on properly? Yeah, I think it has. And if you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you have, please like, comment and subscribe. It all helps my channel. And also consider ringing that notification bell so YouTube will let you know when I've got my next video up, which will hopefully not be too long. But until next time, bye!